Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. The Warriors are in the Western Conference Semifinals. The Warriors struggled in the playoffs and had to play 7 games, but the important thing was that they beat the Houston Rockets and will now face the Minnesota Timberwolves. The victory was important because some players will play well again, such as Buddy Hield, who was hired to replace Klay Thompson and was out of action in the playoffs, but today he made his shots and the Warriors fans are applauding him. We hope and pray that Buddy Hield can maintain this level and lead the Warriors to the finals of the difficult Western Conference. With Curry's clutch performance, Warriors defeat Rockets and advance in the NBA playoffs. With the victory, the team secured the final spot in the 2024-25 NBA quarterfinals. The intense series ended with the advantage for Golden State Warriors, who dominated Houston Rockets in the round of 16 of the 2024-25 NBA. To maintain the good record at the Toyota Center, the visitors won 103-89 this Sunday, and qualified in the second round of the playoffs. With Stephen Curry out, the franchise counted on Buddy Hield and the strong defense to control the paint on both sides of the court. The next stage will be to face the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference semifinals. The game started with the Warriors surprising in the first minutes to open up an 8-2 lead. The advantage, however, did not last long with sequences from Amen Thompson and Fred VanVleet, who tied the score. Despite the excitement on both sides of the court, the team's strong defense and efficiency issues cooled down the baskets. Jimmy Butler converted 4 points to regain the lead, but after a timeout, the Rockets quickly secured 2 shots with Thompson. Thus, the teams tied again. It is worth noting that Stephen Curry remained on the scoresheet throughout the period. With a buzzer beater from midcourt, Buddy Hield was responsible for keeping the Warriors ahead at 23-19. Continues after advertising. In the second quarter, the Golden State forward was the first to score. The strong defense of both teams limited the main players on the perimeter, with 1 ball on each side in the entire first half of the period. Still without Curry, who had only 2 rebounds and 1 assist, Butler and Hield kept the team in the lead. With a clear advantage in the paint throughout the series, the Rockets looked for opportunities under the basket with infiltrations, which were unsuccessful, even with Steve Adams on the court. On the other hand, the Warriors were lucky with their shots from the field and saw the difference open up to 14 points. The wide gap was secured by Curry, with his first basket of the night 33 seconds into the half. The second half started off with a bang with Butler, who secured an and 1 for the Warriors. Despite this, the duo between Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson finally warmed up, and the balls started falling for the Rockets. 2 consecutive offensive fouls, however, slowed the home team's offensive power. Despite this, it was Golden State's turn to suffer with their shooting efficiency, which went from 50% to less than 40%. With Thompson's dominance, Houston managed to reduce a 15-point lead to just 2 points. The forward made good use of free throws and the freedom in the paint. In the final 2 minutes, 3 shots by the visitors ensured that the difference reached 8 points, with the score at 70-62. After 3 lackluster quarters, Stephen Curry was the big name at the start of the last 12 minutes of the game. With 2 baskets, the number 30 returned the Warriors' lead to more than 10 points. The duel continued to be lively, and the starting 5 took control of the offense and defense of both teams. Without VanVleet's 3-pointers, Dillon Brooks and Sengun needed safe shots to try to overcome the deficit. The momentum was still in Golden State's hands, and the balls were falling from all over the frontcourt again. With Butler on the perimeter and Curry and Hield off, the visitors opened up a 20-point lead over the Rockets with less than 3 minutes to go. It's worth noting that, after the perimeter show during the series, Houston only converted 6 baskets on the night. Buddy was the star of the Warriors, with 33 points and 9 3-pointers, to seal the 103-89 victory. Next steps in the NBA playoffs. After the intense series against the Rockets, the Warriors will face the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2024-25 NBA quarterfinals. The opening game of the series is scheduled for Monday, 6, at 10:30 p.m., Brasilia time, at the Target Center. 2 days later, on Thursday, 8, the teams return to the court for Game 2 still in Minneapolis. Back in California, Golden State hosts the Anthony Edwards-led team on May 10 to 12. Games 5, 6, and 7, if necessary, do not yet have a set date. Buddy Hield makes NBA history in Warriors-Rockets Game 7. After taking a commanding 3-1 series lead over the Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors certainly started to sweat after dropping the next two and unwillingly being forced into a win-or-go-home Game 7. The Warriors certainly did not want things to get to this point, but they are making the most of their opportunity with their backs against the wall in Houston on Sunday night. Even with the Rockets having all of the momentum entering Game 7, the Warriors put on a show in the first half. Golden State stormed out to take a 51-39 halftime lead over Houston, led by an incredible performance from Buddy Hield. Hield dropped 22 points and 0 turnovers in the first half on near-perfect 8-9 shooting from the field and 6-7 from three-point range, including a 42-foot bomb to beat the first-quarter buzzer. Hield's 6 three-pointers are the most in a single half in NBA Game 7 history, and the sharpshooter also became the first player in league history to reach that stat line in a single half of any playoff game. The Warriors desperately needed someone to step up offensively, especially with an underwhelming half from superstar point guard Steph Curry. The 11-time All-Star had just 3 points on 1-7 shooting from the field and 1-6 from deep, and was scoreless until the final minute of the second quarter. The Warriors are desperately trying to punch their ticket to the second round, and Hield is certainly doing all he can to help them get there. Draymond Green under fire after another Warriors technical in Game 7. On Saturday, ahead of the most important game of the Warriors season, and perhaps the most important game of the remainder of the Stephen Curry dynasty in Golden State, Coach Steve Kerr had emotions on his mind. His team had, in his view, been too emotional in its return to the Chase Center in Game 6, which they lost, 115-107, blowing their second chance to finish the series and move to the second round. "I thought we got a little scattered with our game and with our emotion," Kerr said on a Zoom call. "That's the biggest thing. We got out of sorts last night. We got too emotional." On Sunday, the Warriors held their emotions in check on the road in Houston for Game 7 against the Rockets. But there is always a wild card when it comes to emotions, and the Warriors, Draymond Green. NBA blown away by Steph Curry's pass in Warriors-Rockets Game 7. Steph Curry is on a mission on Sunday night. The Golden State Warriors have lost 2 straight games to the Houston Rockets, which now has this first-round NBA playoff series tied at 3-3. The season is on the line for both teams on Sunday in Game 7, and Curry is determined to lead his team to victory in order to book their spot in the next round. Curry, however, struggled with his shot early in this one. He went scoreless in the opening quarter on 0 of 4 shooting. He missed all of his attempts from deep, too, which is totally uncharacteristic of the 2-time NBA MVP. Curry made up for it with his passing, though. At one point late in the opening quarter, the Warriors guard somehow found Buddy Hield near the corner with an awe-inspiring behind-the-head pass. Charles Barkley doubts Stephen Curry before Game 7 against Rockets, says he's incapable of scoring 50 points. After a poor performance in Game 6, Charles Barkley doesn't believe Stephen Curry can score 50 points in Game 7 against the Rockets to save the Warriors from being eliminated. Charles Barkley stated that Golden State Warriors guard Stephen Curry may be too worn down and battered to score 50 points to guide his team to a win in Game 7 against the Rockets. While discussing the upcoming showdown on Inside the NBA, Barkley said, "You said Curry, had 50 points 2 years ago," said Barkley, addressing Kenny Smith. "That's like 5 years ago. NBA like dog years. Steph is starting to wear down. I don't think he's capable of getting 50. Barkley's response left the rest of the panel in disbelief. However, he continued to defend his statement. He added by saying, 0:04" This is not January and February. This is the playoffs, and he's wearing down. His hand is hurt. That's just what I think. The former NBA forward was subject to some degree of mockery as Curry's last 50-point outing was technically in April, as called out by Ernie Johnson. However, Barkley doubled down on his statement and continued by claiming that the Houston Rockets would be winning Game 7 comfortably. Curry had a rather underwhelming performance for Game 6 of the Rockets-Warriors series. Although he racked up an impressive stat line with 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists, along with 2 steals and a block, it was evident that the guard was having an off night. The 37-year-old struggled in the game as he battled with an injured thumb. This led to a drastic reduction in efficiency as he shot only 39.1% from the field. In addition to this, he also committed 5 costly turnovers that inevitably helped Houston increase their chances of success. After being up 3-1 in the series, the Warriors now find themselves heading into a crucial Game 7. With injury and health concerns piling up for Golden State, the team will require grit and some miraculous performances to see them past the number 2 seed in the West. Charles Barkley believes the Warriors lost the series after losing Game 6. Barkley was very explicit in expressing his views on the Warriors' chances heading into Game 7, as he was certain that the team had lost the series after their 115-107 loss in Game 6 at home. He said, "I think they blew the series last game." Barkley criticized Draymond Green for getting into foul trouble early in a crucial game and suggested that it impacted the loss at home. He then elaborated on his prediction for the upcoming game. "Steph gotta be aggressive, but it's not gonna be enough with him and Jimmy. This young Rockets team has unlocked something. They sped up the tempo going into Game 5, and now they're playing with tremendous confidence. That building's going to be rocking and rolling." As things stand, the Rockets have all the momentum heading into this elimination game. With Fred VanVleet and Alperen Sengun becoming the driving force on offense, Barkley added that any contribution from their guard, Jalen Green, would seal the win for Houston. Golden State stands on the brink of elimination, a far cry from the position they were in 2 games ago. Now, in the face of insurmountable odds, the Warriors will need all the help they can get from their rotation to secure a win and keep their postseason run alive. Warriors' season may now frighteningly depend on inconsistent young guard. The Warriors need a third scorer. As the Golden State Warriors enter a potentially disastrous Game 7 in their first-round matchup against the Houston Rockets, they now need one player to step up in order to save their season, Brandon Podziemski. Although the Warriors' star players, Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, have both played well this series, averaging 24.3 and 18 points respectively, the team has not gotten enough consistent production out of its other scorers to close out this series as of yet. With abysmal performances in Games 5 and 6, Golden State must now go to Houston to play in a win-or-go-home matchup, and they will need a big performance from Podziemski in order to advance to the second round. Brandon Podziemski has oscillated between monstrous and ineffective. Throughout the course of this series, the Warriors have consistently looked for a third contributor that can help them surmount the staunch Houston defense. Buddy Hield, who has been notoriously streaky throughout this season, had great in Games 3 and 4, propelling Golden State to a pair of wins with 17 and 15 points, respectively. However, in Game 6, Hield returned to his inefficient ways, going scoreless and shooting 0 for 4 from three-point range in only 16 minutes. Rookie center Quinton Post, meanwhile, has shown flashes of advancement in his defensive game in this series but has looked largely tentative on offense, scoring in double digits only twice in the series and shooting 30.8% from three-point range. Podziemski, who stepped into the Warriors' starting shooting guard role in the latter portion of the season, has also been inconsistent. After dealing with a food-related illness that sidelined him for much of Game 2, Podziemski returned for Game 3 still looking shaky, scoring only 10 points on 9 shots from the floor. In Game 4, however, Podziemski found the playoff form that Golden State needed him to, posting 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists and propelling his team to massive victory that put them up 3-1 in the series. In Games 5 and 6, Podziemski has struggled yet again, scoring only 18 points combined between the 2 games and thrusting the offensive onus back onto Curry and Butler. With how closely and effectively Houston's on-ball defenders have hindered Curry's magnificent three-point shot, the Warriors desperately need another perimeter shooter to step up, and Podziemski fits that bill. In his Game 4 performance, Podziemski shot 6-for-11 from three-point range, and, with their season on the line, his team will need a similar performance to overcome the intensity that the Rockets are sure to bring.